On. This is Bill K from Sweep Sports Analytics, and I'm here to refresh the tutorial on web scraping from footballreference.com. It's been a while since my last tutorial, especially since my last video tutorial, but this is a nice opportunity to actually go in and do some updates on the web scraping due to an issue that apparently some of the the viewers, some of the subscribers on YouTube found. So thanks a lot, guys, for noticing. To be honest, I haven't been using this sort of web scraping because I've been relying on some data sets that I've bought, and I haven't actually been working on soccer data sets, to be honest, lately. But look, we have the Premier League coming up soon today's the 31st of July. So the Premier League starts on Friday. I think it's a good opportunity to kind of go through the updates and what the newest method of web scraping, newest method I use for web scraping, and so let's go ahead and let's start. Now I won't go through setting up R in RStudio. You should be able to do this if you're here. You can refer to some other tutorials or my previous tutorial on installing RStudio and installing packages. For now, what I'll just do is load the library that I use for this specific tutorial. So again, library rvest string r dplyr ggplot2 plotly and reader. If you have any issues with a library that you haven't, there's no library loaded, then all you do is, let's say you don't have the plotly library, you just do install.packages quotes and add the package, and then you just run it, and you can, since I already have it, it tells me it's already loaded, restarting recommended, blah blah blah. I won't restart, I'll cancel it, but if you need any of these libraries, just go and install them and then load them. So in the first tutorial, what we were doing was we were going in to fbref.com, if you recall, and we were going into the matches, and where's Premier League, and copying the links. So right click, copy link address, and I would go in and paste the link. We had a huge list of links. Now, of course, there are 380 games in Premier League, and of course, there's no way I would do this. So the method I use here is reading the HTML. Reading the HTML of the relevant scores and fixtures page, and then looking at the links in that page. So this is the schedule. I went to the scores and fixtures for Premier League, and I can confirm that, yep, like all these games, all the way, I think, May 20 something. May 22nd. So this is where we have all the links, but the problem is that we have a lot of other links that we probably don't want. So is that a problem? No, because as long as it has the things we want, then we're fine. That means we're on a good path. So let's go ahead. I will read this. Okay, so this is the link. I got it from up here. Okay, and let's go ahead and read it. Page. I call it a page, and it's read HTML. I don't know how to read these things, and I don't have to, because where is it? Because I'll just go ahead and unlist them using this HTML nodes and HTML attribute href. I just took this from somewhere, I don't know, some tutorial on reading HTML. So I got all the links. Okay, there's some warning message, but it doesn't matter. I'll have a look at the links, and this is what it looks like. So, one thing we can see is it has the scores and fixtures in Portuguese, English, French, Italian, whatever. So let's go all the way to the top. I don't know where that is, where those links come from, but they're somewhere hidden here in the HTML. No problem. Because first thing I want to do is, since we see the links there as str links, I want to see the structure, and we see it's a character type, so it's a value, and it has a length 2331, so there are a lot of links here, 2331 links. I'll split them by the quotes. Now we have links too, and now it's a data set. It's a list of 2331 links. Now if I keep scrolling down, I might be able to see, perhaps, a link that I want. Keep going down. I can't see anything. I see some generic Premier League stats or League 2 championship stats, and etc. But I did a little bit more of digging, and in some of the, like in the 120th, 120th link has a matches Leicester City Wolves August 14th Premier League, so that's pretty cool. So in order to get those specific links, what I do is I use the grepl command function, which it's from base R. It's a regular expression. Well, I don't know what it's called. Regular expression function that we can use to actually filter. And what it does is it takes, what I'll do here is I'll look at the links, well, the values in the links to dataset that have the word matches in it. Okay. So that takes us down from 2331 links to 1147 links. And then I will also look for the Premier League. Well, I just look for Premier here. And let's see how many links we come up here. 760. That's, as we said, 380 games times 2, 760. So it kind of tells us that we have duplicate links, which makes perfect sense because this link here, you can see on the bottom, Brentford Arsenal August 13th, is the same as this link here. So it makes perfect sense to have duplicates. So what I'll do is use a unique function to get the 380 games. So we got all our URLs, all our links, just like that. Now it did take some time to find what pattern to use, and for now it works, so I won't touch it. But if you want to scrape from a different website, whatever, you would have to kind of play around and try to see what you would need to get the links you want. Before I continue, a really, really important thing I want to mention is that we're taking data from footballreference.com, and these folks have done a lot of work, an excellent job to help people, sports fans and sports analytics fans like me and you. And well, you can see that they actually have data provided by StatsBomb and Data Sports Group. We have to make sure from any website you scrape data, you have to be responsible in the usage of that data. So make sure you check out the data use agreements, right? So, it's typically that. But at the bottom, now, web scraping. First of all, if we're too aggressive on our web scraping, they will block us. They'll consider us to be a bot. So, websites have their own protection set up. At the same time, it's not nice. You don't want to steal data that you're not supposed to steal. So, there are some, permitted use. Well, they want open access to the data and tools. One thing I like that they mentioned is that you cannot use any material or content to create a database or other data store that competes with or constitutes a material substitute for the services offered on the site or by the site's data providers, or provide any service that competes with or constitutes a material substitute for the services or data, blah, blah, blah. So I should not create websites or tools based on the data I scrape from Sports Reference or any other sites. Which means that even if you can scrape all the data from Sports Reference and you can set up a database like theirs and set up a site like theirs, you're not allowed to. You can get sued. I'm not a legal person here, but don't do it, Just be nice. I mean, it's we're in this for the fun, or to improve our skill sets, or even for professional reasons. So if you're a professional, you have to go out and buy them. So even though I can scrape all the data here, I won't be providing the way to. I can't sell the data on my website. I can't, and you can't sell the data. You can only just use it perhaps for your own learning purposes or analysis. So yeah, disclaimer here, this is just to kind of learn how to do some web scraping. And if you want to do your own analyses, like make some predictions and start learning about, and you need some data to do your, predictive modeling or descriptive modeling, you can use it. Just don't create a service that competes with sports, with FB reference. So, okay, anyway, let's continue. Where were we? We were at the place where we got all the URLs, and this is the format. 380 matches, starting from the first one, which is Brentford Arsenal, on August 13th. And this is this is what it looks like. Now, I want to do an analysis on a specific team, just for learning purposes here, and I'll have to choose the Premier League champions, Manchester City. I think they've won like 4 out of the last 5 Premier League titles. So yeah, anyway, the way I do this is to filter by using, again, the grepl command. I like this command, it's based on REN. So from all URLs, I want to look for where the Manchester City string comes up. I run this, team URLs, yep, 38 games, right? There are 20 Premier League teams, so each team plays against 19 others twice, so 19 times 2, 38. Okay, so we got all those links, right? Let's go back. Now, what I want to do is create the actual links, because as we saw, the URLs here just start with /en/matches, and the hash key, and then the data. So what we want is, so this is what we got, right? It's like it's the grayed out, right? We want to add the fbref.com and the HTTPS. So that's what I'll do. I do this using the paste command and the separate, which is, separate using nothing, pretty much. So there's no separation. Select the URLs, and now we have all the URLs. There we go. Right? So if I, let's say, copy this to my browser, there we go. Okay, so let's go back. And now that we got it, let's just run let's just scrape the data for one game. Now, sorry, just get some coffee. A sip of coffee. Okay, so G = 1 is what I'll use for the placeholder for the game. So G = 1. I want to get the first, and this is because I want to do the first of the 38 URLs. So I'll run this here. Select the URLs G, which is pretty much the URLs 1, and it gives me the first URL, which is a Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City. I think I remember that game. Yeah. So, first thing I want to do is get the game data. Now, what I mean by game data is the teams and the date. That's what the URL gives us. So from this string, I want to retrieve this data. First thing I do is see where to start. So I want to start from this character. To do that, I want to see the length of this string of characters. How to do that? We run the nchar function with the characters in it. So I run it, it's 38. So that means that means that we should start from the 39th character. And that's where we get it, the 39th character in the substring. So the way substring sub-str works, question mark substr str, it says give me the character vector, tell me when to start, and tell me when to stop. Right. Okay, so we start at the 39th character, and when do we stop? Well, that depends, because Tottenham Hotspur, it's a longer name than, let's say, I don't know, I'm going to say Burnley, but I think, yeah, Burnley just won. Yeah. I thought it was like Brighton has a whole long, yeah, Brighton, Hove Albion, whole name. So yeah, so this means that this varies. The game data length varies. So what I want to do is I want to remove this Premier League so that this will be my last point. So it'll be 38 characters plus whatever teams are, and then stop before the Premier League shows up. So to do that, I want to count how many Premier League characters there are. That's 15, I'm including the dash here. So it's the whole length of the string minus 15, right? Game data. Let's see what that looks like. Game data. There we go. Tottenham, Manchester City, August 15th, 2021. Great. So now I want to abbreviate the month to 3 digits long so that the substring function can be used for all months. That's because when we want to pull the team name, or when we want to pull a date, I want to know how long the date field will be. So if we have months with different lengths, then it doesn't work. Well, it can work, but it just needs a different function there. So this makes my life easier. I'll just replace using the str replace. The way this works again is str replace. It's part of the string R package. It says give me the string, tell me what pattern you want me to replace, and tell me what to replace it with. Okay. So replacing all of these, right? And why we do this? You know what? I'll just show you actually the problem. Just a second. So I want to do the game data here, and let's say we have the date. So you see the date, that's the issue I want to avoid. So when we run this, because this minus 10 is what caused the issue, the nchar. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's do the replacement again, run the date, and we see that the date is fine, and it should be fine for all the months because all the months, each month has 3 digits. Now we want to separate the teams, so we want to separate the game data, and we want to delete the last characters. And as I ran before, the nchar is minus 12, so we want to start from the first character up until the 12th before the end. So let's do the teams. It's the teams. Yep, there we go. Now we want to separate, we want to get the team A and team B. The problem is that we don't have a pattern for this. So one thing I want to do is remove the dash between the team names. Okay. But before I do that, what I noticed was that, well, and I noticed this the hard way, right? Is that in some games, for example, this Manchester Derby game, FA Ref has the name of the derby. So this is the Manchester Derby between Manchester United and City, and there are other derbies such as the North West London Derby, the Merseyside Derby in North London, and the North. Oh, I put this twice? Oh, yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. Let me just check real quick in case I have any issues there, because I don't want to make any mistakes. So it's North West London. Well, anyway, for the purpose of this, we should be fine. It's just the North London. For the purpose of this tutorial, we should be fine, because we're only doing Manchester United and... Oh, it's a North West Derby. So it's the North London and the North West Derby. Okay, so I'll remove these, and also I'll do these replacements here. Remove a dash between Manchester United, and I just want to abbreviate this. And also do some other changes like Brighton and Hove Albion, I name them Brighton. Tottenham Hotspur, I name them Tottenham. And yeah, Wolves. Okay, so we do this and look at the teams. We have Tottenham, Manchester City. And now we can actually do the replacement. The way we do this is using the sub function. Which is part of base R. The way this works is you tell me the pattern, tell me what to replace, and in which and of which vector. So what I'm doing here is saying find the first dash and anything after it, which is a dot star, and replace it with nothing, which means remove everything from the teams and assign that to team A. So there we go, team A, Tottenham, there we go. And then do the opposite, which is find everything before the first dash, dot star, and remove it. And that's team B. Okay, so now we have the date, the game data over here, date, game data, team A, team B, and I think we're okay to start, no, I think, I know we're okay to start reading the first pair of tables. Just real quick, I want to go to that, the link, so it's the selected URLs G. Okay. Yep. It was a fun game. City should have won. Well, the expected goals were 1.9 vs 1.3, but Son scored. Okay, so this is the first, what we want to pull first, the first table, right? Now, the URL we want to read is the select URLs G, and these are the commands. The curl command, then the read HTML, then using rvest HTML nodes, and then this is what specifies the table we want. So just for reference, let's say we looked at the first table. Give me this. Okay, 21 times 2 table with the Tottenham team. So I'm assuming, not assuming actually, this is the table right here. Okay, we can see the number and the formation pretty much. Now let's look at the second table. It's, no surprise, Manchester City, this over here. So if you wanted to pull the lineups, you would just change that to change this number to 1 or 2. Now let's look at number 3. It's this here, possession, all the main stats. The main stats of the match summary. Well, we get the possession, passing accuracy, saves, cards, and oh yeah, that's it. Okay, now when we look at 4, there we get the performance, right? The performance expected. So one thing that we know that this is the 4th table. So 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, the goalkeeper. And then we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay? And we can have more like the 18th and everything here. If you want to have, the shots in every single, the way it happened and everything, okay? So, let's read this 4th table and call it and assign the stat A. And let's look at stat A. Pretty cool. We have the data, but it looks like the column names are kind of messed up, which is perfectly expected because, look at this. This is the column name, but it's grouped. Okay, so the performance here and the way we scrape the data, it thinks that this is actually a data row, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is rename and fix those column names. So the way we do it, first we paste the values. So column names are these, right? Performance expected, everything over here. Okay, and I want to paste this with this character and with the first row. To get the first row, stat A, open the brackets, 1, comma, and nothing. And this is the first row. So the call names will be the product of this paste function. And now this is what we get. Okay, now it's a little bit better. But the problem is that we still have the first row here. So what I'm going to do is, what did I do here? Oh, okay. The first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it could have been 6 also. I want to just paste, just use the first row here. So the column names will be now this. And then, actually I could have done this for 1 to 6. So let me just change this to 1 to 6. And now I want to remove and delete the first row. To do this, open the brackets and do minus and C1. And if you want to delete multiple rows, you can add multiple rows here. But so I delete the first row, and there we go. Stat A looks a bit better, right? We have a player, nation, etc. And there we go. Now what I want to do as well is I want to add the date, the team name, and the opponent to the stat table. And I do this by doing the cbind, which is a column bind. And you can combine as many different columns as you want. Right? Okay, so why I do this is because if I want to filter for anyone playing against Manchester City or anyone on Manchester City, I want to be able to, to use this as have this data, or if I want to check out, do some summaries based on a specific date. Okay, so stat A, which is the home team game, is done. Let's do the same for stat B. Now what we noticed is that this is the 4th table and this is the 11th table. So 4 plus, so I, instead of using the 4th, number 4 here, I use number 11. And let's go. Same commands as before. Let me just change this again from 5 to 6. cbind again, and stat both. I will do an rbind, which is binding the rows. And let's have a look at the stat both. There we go. We have all players and all the stats for this game. Okay, now I just want to add this data to the, well, I'll delete this actually because it's not required for this. So what I just wanted to do here is show you that, you know, this is how to get the first table. Now we're going to continue to the rest. So I'll do scrape all tables. So how to do this? First of all, well, second of all, actually, what I noticed is that we would have to replace, so okay, we have the selected URLs again. We have the 38 games. But one thing I did not like was that, look at this, May 8th, right? The problem we get with that, the May 8th, is that the date will be shorter than May 11th because of the characters, right? We have one less character here, so let's modify those URLs as well. Okay, so again, just mentioning, we're going to scrape all the tables here, okay? We got the first table before, and this is how to get all the tables. So first thing, I want to initialize a table, which means define a blank data frame. And I do this by doing the all stat is null, and then I have the full stat. So the all stat is all stats for a specific game, and the full stat is all stats for all games. Okay, so before, you know, I remember, if you recall, I used G as the game, and since I want the G to increase for all games, I want the G to go from 1 to 38. I do this for loop with, and I use for G and 1 through length selected URLs. This is right, 1 to 38. So let's go ahead. Let's first of all test this for one game, okay? And actually go through line by line here what we're doing. Nothing new, right? We're doing game data, doing the replacements, north, west. Okay, we're doing again the date. Actually, you know what? I'll do this G equals 2. Okay. Okay, so let's see. We got the game data. Man City and Norwich. We got the date. Let's see if we got the date correctly. We did. Got the teams. And now let's see Team A and Team B. Okay, let's go for the first pair of tables. Let me just do this here. Let's look at all stats, and yep, Manchester City, 4 goals scored in total. Norwich, 0 goals scored in total. The minutes add up, 990 because it's 11 players, times 90, and yeah. So there we go. Now remember this being responsible with data scraping? This is one of it. This is the system sleep. So after we read the first pair of tables, I put the system to sleep for 15 seconds because we don't want to be aggressively pulling data from footballreference.com. First of all, it will load their server and they could have issues. So that's, being nice to others. And the other thing is, if you're selfish, well, you'll be blocked from footballreference.com. They'll notice. I think they have some protection as well. They won't let. I mean, if you don't put the system sleep at all, you probably won't be able to scrape data. They won't let you. So I found that system sleep 15 is okay. Well, it's okay until it's not okay, which means you can just increase this, but don't be too aggressive. Be patient. It's data. They're being nice enough to have this data out there for us. So just be nice to fbref.com. Okay, so then let's look at this for loop. Let me just change this 5 to 6 again. Okay, so I in 5 through 10. Why? Because we know that we wanted the 4th table and then the 11th, then the 5th and the 12th for the teams, right? This is we said the 5th table, 11th, 6th table, the passing, and then 13th. 5th and then 12th. Okay, so this is what we do. The I indicates the table. Okay, so let's try this out with I equals 5. Stat A, and we see here I is the 5th table, and I plus 7 is the 12th table, which is the relevant for the other team. Now what we do here is, first of all, this stat both are bind, so we have all the stat both is for both teams over this table, for the passing table, which is the 5th one here, right? And after we bind them, we will merge the all stat with the stat both. Again, the all stat is whatever tables we've scraped so far. So the all stat currently has the performance, all those summary stats. And the stat both currently has the ones that we scraped just now, the passing. So we will merge them, and I do the all equals t. So we merge all stat and stat both, and all equals t is because, when we scrape, I do this because when we scrape the goalkeeper stats, we won't have, obviously, anyone besides the goalkeeper. So merge, first of all, when we merge, it's on the common keys. As you will see, in all stat, we have some common keys. Well, when I say keys, common columns. Date, team, opponent, player, number, nation, all these. You see that they aren't changed here, right? So these are not duplicated. We're merging, which means we're only merging the other columns, the ones that are not common. Okay, so R understands which columns are common and uses that, does not duplicate them, and uses that to add and merge the other columns. And also I want to keep all of them, even if there's nothing that shows up, because when we go to the goalkeeper part and there's no data for all the other players, I want R to actually add this in using NA, indicating that, Son and Bergwijn did not save any shots. Just put an NA there. Okay, so it's just that logic for the merge. Okay, so I'll do this all stat merge. Now we have the performance and the passes. Right, so you see stat both has 30 variables, but all stat has 56 because it has all the previous as well. So in case there are any duplicates, I would remove them. I don't think there is. And also, I just want to make sure that there are no, I trim the trailing or leading white spaces, because, well, it looks like there aren't any white spaces, but I do this just in case. I don't want like here, like Giovanni Lo Celso. There's a white space here, so maybe, I mean, it could have been picked up. I think we did not pick it up, but just in case, I have it here so that we can actually, here's Lo Celso. Oh, no, it's a wrong game. Sorry, it's Tottenham game. So yeah, just in case, it's cleaning up the data. Now I want to convert all stats into numeric variables. Now we know which stats are numeric and which ones are not. Right now everything is as a character. Now 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to age, I'll keep them as characters, even though, the number is not, but anyway. And then mutate all, I want to take from the 9th column on and convert them and make them a function so that it's all they all become a numeric. Do the function as numeric. So this is how to do it using the mutate all. And what I do is I write this to my local directory as I write the CSV all stat, and I paste, and the name will be Premier League 2021-22 game data. Right? The game data is this. So this will be the file. And again, system sleep 15 seconds. So you can actually decide to write the CSV after you've done all the the whole, what's it called, process of retrieving all the tables. I like doing it before. The main reason is that, let's say something, I just like watching the progress pretty much. I like looking at the CSV file. There are other ways, but I just prefer it this way. And then I add the game tables to the total data frame. So the all stat, as we said, is all the tables for that game, and the full stat is all the tables for all the games. Okay, so let's just do this, start this for loop, and I'll just show you what it looks like. Actually, you know what, we don't even have to do this for loop. We can just go ahead and run this, and we will start seeing, just a second, let me so you can see today it's 4:45. You can see it started writing the file. It was 7 kilobytes first, now it's 10. Again, it takes 15 seconds between each table, so we have 4 through 10, so 6 different tables. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, 7 different sets of tables times 15 seconds, so it takes around a minute and a half or something like that, like almost 2 minutes for each table, right? For each game. Okay, so you can see it go up, and that's just because we want to be responsible web users. We're not, we're not going to make money selling data, because this is a business for people that do this. Like, this is a business. Selling data, you have to have all the equipment and everything, so you would rely on the professionals to do that. Just be responsible with fvref.com. Okay, so 18 kilobytes is what I expect from what I see from the other cases. Okay, so again, waiting for 15 seconds. Let's wait for 15 seconds, and we should see soon. Object full stat not found. Oh, because I initialized it somewhere before. Oh, because I did not define it. So yeah, I did not run the full stat, so that's why it did not see the full stat, so that's why it canceled. But well, I don't have to display to you how this works. To be honest, we're done. This code, you can find it on the blog. You'll see the link in the description. That's what you can use to scrape your data for any league and for any team. Now just be aware, make sure you select the right pair of tables. For example, I think, like, I'm not sure all the tables exist for all leagues. Let me just check FBref for let's see the FIFA Women's Euro, which we have the final today. Let's look at the scores and fixtures for France, Italy. Okay, so see here, there's only one table, 2, 3, 4. So you have to be aware. Now, you won't find the 10th table, right? You won't find that. So you have just make sure make sure you're looking at the right, you define the right tables, okay? I know that the La Liga does have the tables. It's pretty much the same, set up the same way as the Premier League. Generally, Football Reference, they have good data for the big 5 leagues. English, French, German, Serie A, and La Liga. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. And now I just want to do a quick mention of an alternative. If you're too bored to actually scrape, I will also be including some code to actually download Manchester City data. You can get this ready if you don't want to spend time on waiting for the whole data to load. This is the only data I'll be providing, Manchester City. If you want something else, let me know. But again, we're not selling data. This is only for research purposes. So I have the code to first create a directory. Oh, I have a directory already. Download a file. The file is on my website, on the sweepsportsanalytics.com. Unzip the file. Then look at the file names. And look at all the files in the directory. All the files that have Manchester City in it. And there we go. 30 file names, 38 games. So I want to read the first file and see what it looks like. All stat. There we go. Arsenal, Manchester City. I know it's the wrong date because it just considers January 1st to be the first date, well, because of January. And we have all the data. Okay, then let's read the remaining files, and we have a for loop. So since we have the first file, we'll do for f in file names. We do the rbind by reading the CSV. Okay, so all stat should have everything there. Okay. Now let's just check that we have all the data we want. So we have, 38 unique dates, which is fine. Now I want to remove the first column because we don't need this. It's a number in that data set, the row number. Also, I noticed that the minute I do this cleanup here, remove the minute to fix some column names. Okay, and now I just want to quickly mention that what we can do with data. Okay, so some plots. running this, what I'm doing is I want to filter for cases where the position is NA, which is for for the team pretty much, and the opponent is Manchester City. I plot the performance, the goals in the the goals in the x-axis and the expected goals in the y-axis. I label the team. So GeoRepel is pretty much so that the names don't overwrite each other. This geom text repel, and as a label I paste the team, and on the line below the date. And the title, I add the labs, which is the labels. I add the title, goals and expected goals. Actually, I'll do this. Expected goals and goals conceded by Manchester City in the 2021-22 Premier League, and the data source is fbref.com. So what this tells us, what this shows us is that City conceded 3 goals by Leicester on Boxing Day and had around 2.4 expected goals, against them. City also conceded 3 goals from Tottenham and on February 19th with around like 1.6 actually expected goals. So this kind of just gives us an idea of what's going on. Another thing we saw is that against Tottenham on February 19th, oh, I get what happened here. Sorry. Wrong filter. So I know that in the LSAT, I know that when I want to get the total, the player name should have this total. This, what's it called? Players here. So I want to do the filter, or the minutes will be more than 90. More than 100 at least. Or more than 500, okay? So I want to do filter min greater than 500. Okay, so this is the right data. So Leicester 3 goals, 2.4 here. Now we have West Ham scored 2 goals with, look at this, Liverpool scored 2 goals with only 1 expected goal on April 10th. Now, there's a whole bunch of things we can do there. This is one example. Let's do this other case. I want to look at the players. And what we have here is expected goals and goals scored by Manchester City players. So let's see which player was good. Yeah, look at this. 4 goals by Gabriel Jesus. He's definitely going to be on my fantasy team this season with since he transferred to Arsenal. 4 goals scored with 2 expected goals against Watford on April 23rd. And Kevin De Bruyne, 4 goals with less than 1 expected goal. That's incredible. Against Wolves on May 11th. So they did a lot better. We can say they're kind of luckier or more skilled. Taking hard shots and scoring. That's De Bruyne, right? And look at Raheem Sterling. He scored 1 goal when he had over 1.5 expected goal. Everyone says that Sterling is not the best goal scorer, unfortunately, lately. That's why he moved away from City. Let's just see what he does. I think he's at Chelsea, right? Is he? Raheem Sterling. Yes. What? Yeah, Chelsea. Oh my god. And yeah. And then another case I wanted to bring up is using the ggplotly, where again you can find tutorials on ggplot and plotly. Just one thing I want to do here is, you can do this case where you can just scroll over, hover over these dots and see the results. So if I want to see what this is here, is Gundogan, 2 goals, 1.1 expected against Aston Villa on May 22nd. Okay. Okay, and last thing I want to bring up is that on the blog you'll see an R Markdown file. You can Google or even ask me questions about R Markdown. What this does is I'll show you. This is code, okay? And what I'll do is just click on knit. It runs the code, and it produces either a PDF or HTML or some other document. In this case, the output is an HTML document, and if you have the code correctly written, you can get something like this. All right, so it has the code. It has everything I created here, how to read the data and everything, and create the graphs. Okay, so, and even Plotly works here. Okay, so this is what you'll see. So just wanted to explain, give a heads up of what's on the blog post. Anyway, that's it for today for this tutorial. Thanks a lot for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions. If anything doesn't work for you or anything comes up and you need any help, you can directly contact me through the website or on Twitter. The links are in the description of the video, or, which is even better, you can add a comment to the video, because it looks like there are some people that have some helpful ideas. I mean, this other person had a question about something that didn't work in the previous tutorial, and a viewer responded and gave us a nice solution. So, we're all in this together. Data scraping is tough, but it's kind of fun. So, yeah, thanks a lot for watching. See you soon. Cheers.